Hey guys, how's it going? So a little while ago, I had done a video on naked root planters where I basically took a variety of my houseplant collection and I planted them into these planters to see how they would grow. And so today I wanted to do a follow-up to that video. So first thing I'm going to walk you through is a couple observations. Then I'm going to take you through some pros and cons. And at the end of the video, I'll give you my final verdict in terms of whether I would recommend these planters or not. So before I get into my initial observations, let me just kind of refresh you guys in terms of the premise of these planters. So basically what these planters do, and I'm just going to read this right off the website, and I'll also make sure to link the website down below in the description box. So with naked root planters, roots breathe and plants thrive. So naked root planters are crafted with nature in mind. By allowing roots to breathe freely, they avoid waterlogging and suffocation. This prevents root-bound plants and promotes healthy root growth, resulting in strong, vibrant, and easy to care for plants. Bring nature's wisdom into your home today and start growing gorgeous, healthy plants. So basically, the planter is set up like this. So you have your top portion where you plant the house plant into, and it has these little holes and slits all along throughout it to allow for the air circulation. Now, it does say that you can use either soil or semi-hydro, which is basically either leca balls or lechuzapon. I chose to go with soil. I love growing certain things in semi-hydro, but I thought for this purpose, it might be a little bit easier just to keep everything in soil. So you plant the plant in here, and then this bottom portion of the planter is basically your water reservoir. So you keep it filled with water. So initial observations. I think everything still looks good. Nothing looks worse, which is a really good sign. There are a couple plants that I can see have active growth, namely my spider plant, my bonnie plant, my money plant, which is right here, my maranta, my epipremnum, and my scindapsus. So those to me look really, really good. They look very lush and look very, very happy. I don't necessarily think it's all because of the planter. For example, my money plant is directly, well, they're all directly under a grow light, but I think my money plant really, my money tree really likes to be under the grow light, and which is why I think it's flushing out a lot of top growth. The reason why I don't necessarily think it's the planter is because this really doesn't have a whole lot of roots to be sucking up that water. So I don't necessarily know it's 100% attributed to just the planter. Something like my maranta or my epipremnum, those tend to be they like to be watered a little bit more frequently. So I do definitely think that those plants are benefiting from the planter itself. The plant that surprises me is my fern. Now, I did mention in my initial video, I have a history of killing these ferns. So I guess the positive is that I haven't killed it quite yet. But I did think that there would be some more growth, and right now it's still looking a little sad. It's only got a couple of leaves on it. So I am surprised that this one actually hasn't benefited more from being in this planter. Same with my alocasia tiny dancer. Those tend to like to be watered quite a lot more frequently. So I would have thought that that would have been putting on a lot more growth. Those are my initial observations. So let me start with the cons. So right off the bat, I think the very first con, and probably the biggest one that I have seen, is the cost of the planter. So for me, I had purchased the starter pack. So the starter pack comes with a total of 14 planters. So it is 6 3-inch planters, 4 5-inch planters, and 4 8-inch planters. And I got that for a total of $100. And then you have to pay shipping on top of that. So I think I paid somewhere in the neighborhood of $20 shipping. So I would say about $120 in total. Now, I did get these on sale. They are still on sale, and they were half off. So when they are full price, they are $200 or above, depending on the color that you get. And that can be kind of a hefty price point. If I look at the concept of this basically is just a mesh planter inside of a cash po. So if you were to go onto Amazon and look up a 6-inch mesh pot, you can get 16 of those 6-inch mesh pots for a total of $23. I will link that down in the description box below too, in case you guys are interested. The only thing is those mesh pots don't come with a cash po, so you would need to find one, whether that be still on Amazon, or I like to go to TJ Maxx or Home Goods to find those types of things. But still, you're probably, depending on how fancy of a cash po you get, you're still probably either right around the same price point or possibly even quite a bit cheaper. The second con that I would mention is that there is kind of a learning curve to this, and I would not say that it is beginner friendly. So if you are kind of a novice when it comes to houseplants, I really wouldn't necessarily recommend this type of planter for you. The reason being is you do need to have a little bit of knowledge in terms of what plant likes to be a little bit more on the damp side consistently versus what plant likes to really dry out between waterings. It is a little bit misleading to have this water reservoir because someone could very easily assume that this water reservoir needs to be constantly filled with water. And that's not necessarily the case. So something like a philodendron, if you did that, if you planted the philodendron into soil and you constantly had that water reservoir filled, that philodendron's roots would rot really, really quickly and then end up killing the entire plant. Now something like a fern or something like a calathea probably would benefit from the water reservoir being filled all the time. But again, it just takes a lot of knowledge in terms of knowing which plant needs to dry out between waterings, and you could potentially end up losing a lot of plants if you don't have more experience with this. The third con is the practicality. So in this shipment, I had gotten the all white one, and then they did gift me one that was transparent. The one that is non-transparent is a little bit difficult because I can't see the water reservoir to see if it needs to be refilled or not. So I always have to lift the plant out, which I know doesn't sound like a big deal. But when I keep these downstairs in my basement, they are under shelves. So for me to have to kind of go digging through to make sure if anything needs to be watered or if I need to refill anything can be a little bit more challenging. The other thing is the size of the watering hole. So if you read the instructions on the website, it tells you that your first watering, you should water from the top down, and then everything else subsequently, you should use this little half sun to water through. Now you need a very, very specific watering can to fit through this half sun. And that's a little bit challenging to find sometimes. So I would have to literally, take the plant out and carry it over to my slop sink to water it. So again, not to necessarily water it, but I would fill the bottom pot a little bit with water and then carry it back to the shelf where I keep it. Now, the other thing is because these holes are on both sides, you have to make sure not to overfill it because once you put the plant back in, it can spill out the sides. Or if you do actually find a watering can that does fit in here and you're kind of tipping it, you have to be careful because as you're watering from this side, the water could be coming out of the hole in the back. So there are some practicality challenges with this. The fourth con, and somebody actually had commented on this on my initial video, is the fungus gnats. So I didn't notice fungus gnats for the first few weeks, but as I was going downstairs in the recent couple of days, I actually have noticed a few fungus gnats starting to fly around. And I think that's because the soil tends to stay damp longer. And so that really is conducive to fungus gnats. So it is not the worst thing in the world, the worst pest to deal with, but I also don't know many people who actually enjoy having them in their home or flying around them. So it is just something to be mindful of. And the fifth con is really something personal. I had mentioned this in the first video, but it's really just the aesthetics itself of the planter. So The way I use my houseplants, I do have a lot of houseplants upstairs around my house to use for decorative purposes. And then I do keep a bulk of them downstairs in my basement under grow lights at the same time. And then I rotate them throughout the winter and early spring months. I bring them outside for their summer vacation and allow them to grow in a nice sunny spot. And then I bring them back inside for the late fall and throughout the winter months. So the ones that I keep upstairs, I like to have in more decorative containers, and I just don't love the look of these containers. To me, I don't really love anything that's plastic. So it's not a problem in terms of I can just put it into another cash pro, but then that leads me back to my initial con that I had talked about, because now I'm just spending more money and I'm putting my plants into more things, now having to find a cash pro to put it into. The other challenge is it is a square planter, which makes them line up beautifully along my grow light shelves in the basement. But then when it comes to actually finding a planter to put them in, it's a little bit of that, square peg into a round hole situation. So sometimes I need to find a cash pro that's a little bit larger size, and then the plant looks a little bit off because you have a smaller plant and a very large cash pro just to make room for the square naked root planter that it's in. All right, so now for the pros. And honestly, there was only one really big pro for me, and that is that it did actually save me a lot of time in certain instances. So I think the biggest takeaway is, for me, the one that was time saving is the transparent one. So if I'm going to get more, it's going to be the transparent one, because that is where I can quickly just scan the shelf, see which water reservoir needs to be refilled, see if the soil is actually dry or not, and it deserves more water, and then go from there. The ones that are completely solid and you can't see through were not at all time saving for me. But if you have a very large houseplant collection and you're just looking to do your watering very quickly, it can save you time from that aspect. So my final verdict, do you need these planters? The answer is no, you absolutely do not need these planters. I think, again, if you're a beginner, I think that there could be a very large learning curve to this, and this could be fairly costly for you too, in terms of not only the cost of the planter, but then the cost of potentially even losing some house plants. But it can be really helpful to those that have large houseplant collections that, sometimes spend hours at a time watering. This way you can, like I said, quickly just scan the bottoms of your transparent planters to see which water reservoir needs to be refilled. Now, I will just add, if you are interested in looking to purchase some of these, what I would highly recommend is you purchasing the starter kit. And I'm just going to make sure that I am looking up the pricing just so I don't misspeak. So just a friendly reminder, the starter kit is 14 planters for the price of $99. Now, I think some of them, if you are looking at the transparent ones, they are actually about $5 more expensive. But if you are looking to place individual naked root planters, they run, depending on the size. Let me look up the actual size. So something like a 5-inch can be $13. A 3-inch can be $10, and an 8-inch is about $26. So depending on the size you need, it can be a little bit pricey. And then, like I said, you have to factor in that shipping piece of it as well. So yeah, like I said, I would recommend them. I actually did end up purchasing another starter pack, but I purchased the transparent ones because there are certain plants that I think that would be really beneficial for, namely things that like to be moist a lot longer. And then this way I don't have to be afraid that I forgot to water them and they have completely been decimated by the fact that they've dried out in the back of some plant shelf somewhere. So that's really all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this content. I have a lot more houseplant content on my channel that I'll make sure to link up here in the cards above. And if you guys like this sort of videos, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.